You're killing me, Smalls.
We making movies, no acting in. I'm fucking Instagram action shit. UPS shipping packages. I'm smoking weed out them packages. If I ain't got a gun, I'm stabbing it. I got some leftover lean in the cabinet. I can hit your little hoe when she happy. Poke on that pussy shit like it's a top in it. We making movies, no acting in. I'm fucking Instagram action shit. UPS doing the packaging. I'm smoking good ass weed out them packages. I can't lie, 'cause I ain't capping it.
Well, welcome back to the DNA podcast. It's your boy D.
It's your boy Antonio. Let's get to it.
This week we're going to talk about what makes a video game a classic. That came about just due to 10 minutes of research. I ain't got no fancy story where that came from.
But we have 25 years of research of playing video games, so you know.
Yep. I guess right off the bat, how you define a classic with video games?
It has to be almost timeless. It has to develop it has to become like a cult classic. It has to be like instantly have nostalgia about it, if that makes sense. Like a year later, like, hey, you remember how good that game was?
So mass appeal makes it, like, not only mass appeal, but mass has got to like it to be a classic to you.
Yeah, well, not even just mass appeal, because like, COD has mass appeal, right?
Yeah.
But, but none of the new CODs are like, oh, that's a fucking classic.
Yeah.
But Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, those are classics. You know what I'm saying?
How would I decipher a classic? I guess, right off the bat, I guess I don't disagree with you on classic. Mm-hmm. I guess there could be a difference between classic and masterpiece. Mm-hmm. Because the mass appeal thing comes to me, because people didn't play it don't make it a good game. But then it wouldn't be a classic, but it could still be a masterpiece. But on the flip side, a masterpiece could be a classic.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on classic. I was about to say, I was going through my head like
a Ferrari and a Camry are both cars.
True. I guess a classic for me, I guess it's huge that it's timeless. Obviously, as games age, there's going to be aspects that suck about it.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I guess most older games, camera is going to be ass. Mm-hmm. The original hardware has to be ageless. You could always port something or I forgot what it's called, like when you build it up in a new engine but still old graphics.
That's I had the name in my head and then I went to say it and it disappeared. I hate that.
I hear this bitch about 5 times a day and I just can't.
Remaster.
Remaster, that's what it is. I feel like anything can be remastered and made good. The original copy needs to be great. Now, if you play the original copy and like it, but you just prefer to play it somewhere else, I don't knock points on it.
I think certain things like I remember when Shadow of the Colossus got its remaster and it got put up to the PS4. It was still the same game, and Shadow of the Colossus held up even when it was on the PS2.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even see a difference. Like
it's
better looking.
It's better looking and it's a little smoother.
But it still looks the same.
Yeah.
Like they didn't OD do the graphics and make you think it's a different game. Mm-hmm. You look at that bitch, damn, it's the old game. Like you know that it's an old game by looking at it. Mm-hmm. But no, this is an old beautiful game and an old game that runs smooth. So like, yeah, I guess there's different remasters. Mm-hmm. But yeah, all in all, you should be able to play the original copy and still find some joy in it, some pleasure. If you can't play the original copy for shit, is it really a classic?
I mean, it's like, I don't know, some people would say, Pokemon Red, Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Bro, I could play any Pokemon. I'm not going to hold you. I thought about getting a Game Boy Advance to play the original Red, Green, and Yellow. Just because I haven't ever played them. But, hell, Pokemon's formula is classic. Shit's still the same, bro. I'm going to go capture some shit. The only difference from this game and the games that I've played is that I started off with color.
I played the original Red and Green with no color. And then when which I played it on a Game Boy Color. So
Yeah, bro, gets me. When I was young, I
but
didn't
like
know,
it's not coded to have color in there, so it makes sense. But
I didn't know there were so many Game Boys when I was younger.
oh, bro, there's like 45 different ones. It's crazy.
Because like I was like 5, and I remember somebody asking, "Is that the Game Boy Color?" I assume so. Yeah, it's a Game Boy that has color. I know, but like I had an SP, but it's like when they ask, "Is it a Game Boy Color?" That's a weird name to call it. Do you call it PlayStation 2 Color? I do.
It low key sounds like a racial slur. I don't know how to feel about it.
Something. Is that the original Game Boy? It's my first one. Like, bro, I just didn't know how to approach these questions. Not until later in life. Oh, this is what they mean by those 101 questions. What the fuck was I supposed to know? I was 5.
I think I've had a Game Boy Color. I've had a Game Boy SP. And I've had a Game Boy Advanced.
A lot. I had a Game Boy Advance on SP.
Yeah, 'cause SP is the one that folded, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that one. I had the Advanced. My shit was clear. It was cool. And then I had the color. And I got the color from my cousin, I think.
Damn, my boy had the Infinity Game Boys. So, I guess there's plenty of ways we could go. Off the bat, what's a game that you consider a classic, or games, if you could think of something?
I have some classics in a couple different categories. If we're talking Nintendo, Mario. Because, they even made new games that emulate old games. And they use the old graphics. So it's a little more polished, but, you know what I'm saying? Like Mario Maker or whatever. And that has a ginormous community on the internet that just does people's impossible.
We got a whole
impossible
name
maths
for
and
it.
shit.
That bitch called Kaido Mario. Or Mario Kaido. Something like that.
Yeah. So, I think the original Mario and what was the one I had there? I don't know. Can't remember what the second Mario was, but
I can't remember the order. Was it just Super Mario and Super Mario 2? Super Mario Bros. 2? Super Mario World? I don't know the order. That
I
these shits
can't
came
remember the order. But if you know, you know. I think Nintendo. That's probably one like an absolute classic game. And it had mass appeal. Everybody knows what Mario is. Everybody's played Mario, probably at least. And it's just one of those timeless kind of games, And the franchise is still going to this day. So,
when I think of classic, a bunch of stuff came to my head. I will counteract your Mario. A classic game is Sonic 3, Knuckles. That holds up. I will tell anybody that's like this, anybody that likes a Sonic liked it.
I don't know if I played that one before.
Sonic 3 is the first one with Knuckles.
I'm saying I don't know if I played that one.
So you haven't played? I was about to say.
I might have played it, but I know I've played the original Sonic because it was just Sonic and Tails, right?
No, Sonic. Tails came second.
Okay, I
And
played Sonic 2.
Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and bash the other two, but like the third one is so implemented well. And I would say people that haven't played a Sonic game play that one because it's the first one with a narrative story throughout. Not narrative because there's no words. It's a story throughout.
I mean, a narrative can be written, but
I thought narratives needed words.
no narrator. Narrative is just like a storyline.
So it has a narrative story. It introduced, I believe, the spin dash and a couple other stuff. Can't think off the top of my head. It introduced Knuckles. You could play separately as Tails, Sonic, and Knuckles. The first one is lacking. It's literally just straight to the rings. I don't think it had the physics engine. So I think you could go from 0 to 100 quickly, but at the same time stop just as much. So like there was no real weight to your run. I think the second one is when they added it. Mm-hmm. The third one is where they had the special stages. I think the second one is where you could go supersonic, but at the end of the game, the third one is where if you were good, you can go supersonic at stage 3. If you're that good. I have been playing Sonic 3 for on and off for my whole life. I go from liking it to hating it. Back and forth. I'm in my hated phase right now. But the fastest I've ever been able to get supersonic is like 2 stages from the end. Because damn, them special stages get me. But like, there's plenty of replayability. There's plenty of adventures. It's kind of a Metroidvania and a platformer.
Yeah, it is like a Metrovania platformer.
Because you can discover hidden routes. You can discover alternate stuff. Like, people see the time and think, oh, I need to get there, which that's another way to experience the game is by finishing it quickly.
Yes, we're running it.
But then there's the other part of it where it's just exploring the map, and it's just it's so beautifully done that I will say that open world games haven't came close to recreating the beauty, and it's not even open world. Like,
It is a sprite.
yeah,
I think in general, Sonic games don't get the love they deserve for being like graphical, like works of art.
because sometimes they suck in graphical.
Yeah,
Like,
but like this, I remember playing Sonic on like Sega and all that stuff. It's like a Genesis and all that fun stuff, and like they were actually really good looking games. Now I haven't played them recently, so I can't fully attest to their graphical abilities now.
yeah,
but
it's kind of went downhill. But even in general, like knowing how inferior Sega was, they put out some pretty decent games in general. Like, I didn't know anything about hardware back then. Once again, nigga was like 8, but like I thought the same pieces in the PlayStation was in the Sega. I mean, it makes sense to me. Why the hell are you making Why are you making something that's less advanced than the best thing out? Yeah, that's the reason why them niggas don't make game systems now. Explain that to me.
They were trying to capture a cheaper market. That's the whole idea.
True, $100 cheaper is cheaper. But hey, if a nigga can afford a $300 console, they can afford a $400 one. I hate to break it to them on that front. If they really wanted to be cheap, you needed to go ahead and make a $100 console. Hence why Nintendo's still there, because they had the Game Boy. But Sonic is right off the bat to me because he came out with Mario. Classic. I guess I have to go back to redefinition. Sometimes I know something is a classic, not even due to mass appeals. Well, fuck, it's a masterpiece. That's what I was about to say. When I play it, I just have this feeling of that shit was perfect, down to every minute detail. And a game that's gonna be a classic is Persona 5 Royale. That game is perfect, down to every little bit of detail. I am not a soundtrack guy. I can't tell you any gaming soundtrack worth a fuck. Because I really don't like gaming soundtracks. They gotta sound a certain type of way. Because they fit the game. But they don't really. I kind of just tune them out. There's Persona 5 soundtrack. The soundtrack and just the gameplay is perfect. I don't know if it gets the love that it deserves. They're milking the hell out of the franchises because they have like fucking 4 spinoff games with the same name. So they milking the hell out this motherfucker.
They ain't gonna make a Persona 6 anytime soon.
It was only exclusive for the PlayStation for the past 5 years, but they just released it on Xbox. But that game is perfect. Another game I feel that way is Zelda: A Link to the Past. Specifically, A Link to the Past. I don't think any other Zelda is a classic. I don't feel that way about the other ones. I like them.
I think Majora's Mask is a classic.
I think it's a good game, but nah.
Okay. I think for me, Majora's Mask is more of a classic than.
It's something about simplicity too that I was like. I think Majora's Mask is a more loaded game. I think you get more out of the game. But the reason why I specifically said I don't think any other Zelda is technically a classic because I think the formula of adding some weird power to Zelda. Oh, not Zelda Link. That's such a rookie mistake. Adding a weird arbitrary power up to differentiate them.
But it's not even arbitrary or weird. It's literally a magical land. It's a fantasy setting.
It's only arbitrary because it's different to him. Not that if there was different people doing different stuff, cool. But you know he does something different.
I mean,
like he's a wolf in one, they can control mask in the other, control time in another. He does. I guess it's also because none of these things come back. Like these are literally one-off things that now it's been established that there's different universes, and that's why. But at the end of the day, you know they do it just to have a different gameplay formula.
Yeah.
I think A Link to the Past does it well enough to where, like, I want to see a Zelda game where it's just straightforward dungeons. And, like, I think it can be done in the older setting, like A Link to the Past. I guess Breath of the Wild, in a sort of a way, did that.
Yeah, this not because you have a fucking tablet that, you know.
But it's pretty simplistic, but it's just, something about that Link to the Past is just perfect. I am not huge on 2D sprites, even though I just said Sonic is a classic, but just like the dungeons is perfect. I don't think the power up, I don't think the power in the game is too much. Yeah, it's just, I feel like that's the perfect Zelda game. And a bunch of games, it's 90s. Like,
You're gonna get hate for that one, big dog.
hey, some people hate Majora's Mask. Some people, I like Ocarina of Time more than Majora's Mask, except for the damn water temple level. That is hard as a bitch.
That's why I did not put it on my. That's why I did not say that one, because like the fucking water level. Oh my god,
That is hard as a
whenever I get to a game there's a fucking water level, I get PTSD like every fucking time.
Bro, I don't know why they keep adding water levels. Like, I know it's good aesthetically, but I can't even tell you I've ever played a good water level. Like, I hate water levels in Sonic, hate them in Zelda, hate them in Mario, I hate them in Metal Gear, I hate water levels in Call of Duty. I hate, like, if I'm in water, I hate that shit. If there's a way to avoid the water, I get the fuck up out that thing. Because I hate the controls feeling heavy. And that's what water does. It makes it hard to do basic movements. But now I'm on this damn counter because the nigga about to drown and shit. Don't drown, good buddy. I'm trying.
Hey, have you ever been like you about to get to the top and then you die?
Every time.
Oh my god.
I feel like the first time I ever
I think
figured
that's why I kind of developed like a phobia of drowning from water levels.
it all falls into my later, like sometime in life, I developed claustrophobia, and drowning is part of it. It's just a sensation of, bro, please don't prohibit me from breathing. In any sorts of, please don't have me pushed against a wall. Please don't bear hug me crazy. Please don't have me drowning. Bro, it's anything that prohibits my breathing will send me into shock.
All right. Next category of classic games. What is your quintessential classic first-person shooter?
So many routes to go down. Anything we pick is going to be a controversial pick because there's a bunch of great ones. And I think I've played damn near every great one. Played your Halos. I played your GoldenEye on the N64. I've played Medal of Honors. I played Call of Duty, Sniper Assassins. I think, for the sake of us calling classic, I would say Black Ops 2. Call of Duty. I think it does everything well. Mind you, I didn't even play the story mode, the campaign mode.
Oh, I did.
And I heard it was fire. I heard it was. I think I've been told that it was the last good campaign mode.
Yeah.
I think the multiplayer is better than Black Ops, even though Black Ops was. At the time, I thought Black Ops was perfect.
Yeah.
Until Black Ops 2 came out.
Uh-huh.
And it was just perfect. The zombies, I think, is peak zombies. Once again, Black Ops, I think zombies was perfect until Black Ops 2 came out. And it was perfect.
Yep.
Black Ops 3 overdid it with crazy stuff in zombies and multiplayer.
Yeah.
And then once again, didn't play the campaign.
Now, I will say Black Ops 3's like lore aspect of it was very good. Like they gave you, if you're into lore, it gave you lore.
And it's like, I still played the shit out of Black Ops 3, but it's like Black Ops 2. I think if I give everybody who's a first person shooter a copy of that, we would all enjoy it in terms of everything. And I'm talking like, hell, it doesn't matter which aspect. You can go to the base game or the one with all the DLC. I prefer the one with all the DLC. But it was just,
But even base game, it held up pretty well.
I sunk in so many hours in that base game because me and my niggas back didn't even believe we was gonna get DLC. But back then, that's when PlayStation wasn't hoeing niggas around. That's back when one nigga could get it, the whole squad could get it. So we all purchased one DLC, but got 4 for the price of one. And this is back then when me and my man Eric was rolling steady. Me and Eric only paid for half both times.
But that was what a time. I had so many games in DLC.
Bro, what? And yes, like I think there might be some better in terms of lore, some might be better in terms of gameplay, but I think all around that is solid. I think if you gave that to me on PS5, I would play that nonstop, hours.
Shit, I have so many memories of like I got so good at Black Ops 2. I had to start nerfing myself and playing like with just pistols or playing with just the ballistic knife or play like you had to nerf yourself and like I was never like FaZe Clan good or shit like that, but like I could definitely I could drop a 25 kill game pretty easily regularly.
I could have been part of FaZe back then. I wouldn't have been the best, but I think I would have been a lower tier FaZe Clan member. That was the only game to date. I got diamonds on everything. From the pistol to the ballistic to like everything.
I used to run around with a TAC 45.
Bro, that TAC 45. But the fact that you say it, I'm back like.
and I remember I got so good at it, I had to figure out what the real gun was. It's an FN 45. I know what it is.
I got so good, and it's like, I don't even know how long I played it, because I feel like back then, Call of Duty games was not coming out every single year.
No, it was on every other year.
So it was, I felt like, because the first year, I felt like I was good. But so like, maybe within the first year, let's say like the first 4 or 5 months, like we were good. But I got so good that I started quick scoping, and like towards my back end, and I'm talking like, if I played 24 months of that, my last 20, I've only used snipers. And this isn't like, oh, y'all quick scoping other people. No, this is us playing search. This is us playing domination, TDM. Bro, how the fuck is D on top of the team? Is that nigga just sniping? Like, I got so good that I influenced my homeboys to snipe, and we became a quick scoping group. And we were just, we literally had people scared to play us because it was like, bro, what am I supposed to do with that? You killed me in one hit. And like, I remember I was so good that if you came up behind me shooting, I could 180 quick scope you before you killed me. There was no gun in there, AR, pistol, rocket launcher you could get me, but there was no bullet gun that killed you fast enough without me getting a shot off. Now, I wasn't 100% accurate, but you better hope you better hope I miss, because I'm going to turn around and shoot. Like, that's a guaranteed. And like, to me, I think I fell off of Call of Duty since then. And I can tell you that there's been other good ones since then. Like, I'm not going to be here and be like, oh, all of them suck. Like, the Modern Warfare that came out was good. I think Modern Warfare 2 is out. I think that's pretty good. And then I think there was another one when it went back to World War II that was good. But nothing will ever compare to like, because I feel like I think this is before YouTube gaming really blew up.
Yeah, it was...
Right before.
That was the game that kind of blew up gaming on YouTube. Like I started seeing clips. I started seeing,
people trick shotting, 360 sniping off the map to see if you get the hit, like,
or throwing and jumping off the map and throwing the knife. Like it started with Modern Warfare 2, and then Black Ops 1 and 2 is when it really kind of came into being, and then from there.
Makes sense. Modern Warfare 2, only a niche amount of people knew it, because I did not know about that shit. Now, I got hit by some cross maps, but I'm just like, niggas just getting like I didn't know about the YouTube community of that. But then Black Ops, it became a little bit more than niche. I feel like there might be a word for it, but I feel like whatever the word between niche and mainstream is, I guess underground.
Yeah, like a subculture.
Yeah. Like it became more of a thing, but I won't really tuned into it. And I played a lot of Black Ops. But Black Ops 2 is when it really became, because that's when I started doing it. That's when, if you played Search and Destroy, and y'all got down to the last one, it was a known thing that you trick shot at the end. Like you didn't have to talk to the other niggas. It became a known thing. Hey, it's just us. Head towards this spot. Let me try the 360. With no words. Like this wasn't, oh, let's do it. It just became part of the game. Unless, shit talking was and when if you were talking shit heavy. Nah, bro, we play the kill. Play the kill to the very end. So yeah, that's mine. What is yours?
I'm not gonna lie, you took mine.
Yes, sir.
You took mine. But I will go Halo 2 for the story. Halo 2 story was masterpiece.
I think I heard that. I think they say Halo 3's multiplayer is better, but Halo's 2 story is...
Yeah, Halo 2 story is absolutely phenomenal. Halo 3 story was not bad, but it was an ending that we didn't love. So one of those
I'm not gonna hold you. I don't have any opinions because I've never owned a Halo because I've never owned a Xbox.
Yeah, so I've only adjacently have access to an Xbox. My stepdad had an Xbox, so when he played, I got to play. One of those things.
It makes sense. Well, what a time to have it. I feel like that was the height of the console wars. The second one, not the first one. Because Halo, especially like when you had Halo 2. And since that game, well, Halo 2 and the first 3 Halos in general, since they were so good, it actually made a reason to, for there to be a beef. And they had Gears of War and some other stuff. But like if Halo was not as good as it was, it wouldn't even be a war.
Yeah, it would. I think personally, I guess we're going to show our affiliations on this console war shit. I think Sony has always had better games. Xbox has certain games that are really good, interesting. Like your Halo, your Gears of War. That's all I can really think of. And I'm talking exclusives.
But I think there was more exclusives, but I didn't care to play them.
I think they had Fable. I think if you're into fantasy stuff, so Fable. Mm-hmm.
I think Sony was just consistent.
But also they were consistent and they had a wide breadth of different things that you could be into. Like they had your hack and slash kind of games, your God of Wars. They had
God of War was the only console exclusive. No, wait, God of War was on Xbox back then, right?
No.
It wasn't?
That's a PlayStation exclusive.
Oh, I just thought it was the new ones that came. I never actually knew.
All of them.
Because I feel like everybody played God of War growing up. Which shows that I feel like a lot of niggas say they had Xbox, but on the same hand, I feel like everybody played God of War. But now that I know for facts that you can't have both, how the hell were you doing this?
You were going to the cooking house and playing God of War. Yeah, so you had your hack and slashes, you had your shooters, and then you had your platformers. I think platform and in the world of platforming and I think PlayStation has always done it better compared to Xbox.
I
can't think of a single Xbox platformer.
I think for their time, they've always done enough better for me to edge them out. So even in let's say the 2000s, we know the original Xbox was a flop. Everybody knows that to be true. That wasn't competing with nothing. I think having free multiplayer back on the P3 and was it P4? I know P3 for facts.
P3 and
I think it was the P4. I think I only started paying for multiplayer on P5. I think that was good enough to edge out, not good enough to keep up with Xbox having a specific catalog. Because outside of God of War, I don't know anything specifically geared towards PlayStation.
Oh, I can name a whole fucking list.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Dexter.
Those are specific to
Those
PlayStation?
are all PlayStation exclusives.
Oh, we was crushing y'all niggas. Sly Cooper?
Sly Cooper, Uncharted.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot might have been on Nintendo too. But
Could
I know it was on PlayStation. I don't think it was on Xbox because it might be a.
Because it's made by the Jack and Daxter guy, so I don't see why they would.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Because Naughty Dog is owned by Sony, so Crash Bandicoot.
Okay, I was about to say, I don't see why Uncharted and Jack and Daxter would be one, but Crash be the other.
Yeah. Yeah, Naughty Dog's owned by Sony.
And that's why you said it. So I thought of the PlayStation platformers. I thought they were just available on everything.
No.
Oh, I feel sorry for y'all. Like, them shits were fun. Those are also games that I would call, there is a classic in everything that you just listed. Slide 2, classic. For me, Jack and Daxter's a classic. Most people pick Jack 3, but I think Jack and Daxter, the first one's a classic. Have not played too many Ratchet and Clank, so I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah, there's some really good Ratchet Clanks. I really like Deadlock. That's the one where he becomes a gladiator.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I don't know if that has the massive feel to make it a classic.
True.
It definitely was in PlayStation's greatest hits. So
All of them were. Like, I think every Ratchet and Clank game that came out was in greatest hits.
they were such a good game.
Crash Bandicoot, the third or first one. Been a while since I played, but I'm gonna go with the third one. Classic. Like, there's classics in all these titles, and I'm just picking one. Also, now that I think about it, if it's a franchise, it can only have about 2 classics. Like Call of Duty, since it has about 20 games, it should have 2. But a class, if you're a franchise, you can't have fucking 3 games and 2 be classics.
I mean, I think you could. If you're really good at your shit. Like, okay. If we're talking like new age games, right? I think God of War 1 and 2, the new God of Wars, Ragnarok and God of War, I think those are going to be classics. They're going to be regarded as classics. And they only have 2 games out.
Yeah, they do get this mass hype appeal behind it.
They're good.
I've never, bro, I've only got through the first mission on both. I don't know why. I just don't like it.
It's not your. If it's not your vibe, it's not your vibe. There's nothing wrong with that.
It feels like more of a movie than goddamn.
I think that's what makes it even more amazing. The fact that they're able to generate this absolutely beautiful world.
Yeah.
And it have no cutscenes, no nothing. Now they do tricks to make it so you don't have to.
I was about to say, any time where I don't have to play to push it forward, I consider it a cutscene. Now, once again, you said they've smoke and mirrored a lot.
Yeah.
To where it's not just a cinematic background.
While you're traveling, they're loading in the next area, and that's the idea. But I think it's impressive that they're able to do it, and they were able to do it on the PS4.
I find myself just not playing a lot. It's like, so Metal Gear has a class. I haven't played the Metal Gear series in a lot, but I stopped playing Metal Gear because I did not know this, but somebody did a little time jump. And one of the newest Metal Gears, not the one on the PS5, not Metal Gear 5, but like either 4 or 3, has more cutscenes than gameplay. And this is for fact, or if not cutscenes, more dialogue than gameplay, like hours wise. There's like 5 hours of dialogue but 4 hours of gameplay. No. Doesn't matter how good the game is. That's way too much talking.
Is it optional dialogue or you're actually locked in that bitch?
It goes back and forth.
Because if it's optional dialogue, that's one thing. But being locked in that hole and I have to listen to this deposition and all this for shit.
And it makes sense why. Because like the creator, the guy who created Metal Gear wanted to be a film director. Somehow he failed or wasn't given a shot or something. So he chose gaming as his outlook for telling stories. And like literally every Metal Gear, it gets longer in terms of dialogue and cinematics. And so, like, I'm kind of feel that way with God of War. I don't doubt that there's a great game. Hell, plenty of people say it is, so you can't say that it's not. Bro, it's just there's a way you trick people into dialogue while you play, and this is not it.
Well, the good thing about God of War, there's not a whole bunch of dialogue. There is a lot of travel, but the travel's broken up with fights.
And maybe the opening. Once again, I haven't got past the openings, but I have found myself that I don't play a lot of games because of openings, because they just be so goddamn long. And it's like, you don't have to throw me into the action. But, bro, you can't open up with an hour and a half worth of tutorial.
But God of War 1 has plenty of action in that first mission. You fight a fucking troll.
I killed him, and that's literally the high point of what I did.
Yeah, that is kind of, it is the crescendo of that story, of that first mission. But
And it's just like, I don't know, it could be my Gen Z brain taking over. But I do like story heavy stuff. But like,
and God of War is nothing but story. I don't understand.
There's ways. So like, what I think of is so like Sly Cooper, just in general, the Sly franchise. It's rare that Bentley stops you outright. Mm-hmm. He does, but there are sections where you're moving through, and Bentley is still talking to you.
Yeah, that's
as you do it.
All the things that you were describing happens in God of War.
Well, I haven't got there yet. I've been getting stopped too damn much. Like it's
the first mission is just setting the framework of where we're at.
Which I do know that needs to be done, but it's just there's a reason why I haven't made it. I literally got to the part where you started throwing the axe, and I don't know why I stopped. I just got bored. I just got bored at it.
Well, that's the platformer part of the game.
Sure, maybe I do need fast pace.
Your attention span's gotten slower, huh?
Yeah, I'm about to say I started playing more Metrovanias, something that I would call a classic, Hollow Knight. If you've not played it, it's worth playing. It's a throwback to hard-ass games. How hard is it? Well, one, there's no linear path, so there's no set way to do bosses. My fourth boss I faced, I had to look up YouTube. I could not beat that motherfucker. And like, I'm 8 deep in bosses. I think that was just a hard boss because I was able to beat my 5th and 6th one. But 7, 8, I had to YouTube again. And like, this isn't me dying once or twice and just, fuck it. Nope. I've been stuck on this 4th boss for 2 years. And I've been stuck on these other 2 for 2 weeks. So, each.
God damn, years?
I stopped playing the game. But fuck this nigga, bro. I'm not looking shit up. And then I just started playing other shit.
You know what's funny? So, back when I was staying with Takara, that's a mutual friend of ours. She had
an acquaintance.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway, she had a game that she could not beat, right? And she was like, I always get stuck at this one part and I can't beat it. And I sat down and I like beat it. And she was like, I've been stuck there for 16 years. And I was like, what the fuck? I
think some people there's parts of games that other people are good at. And so like the reason why I know Hollow Knight's a classic, I don't like Metroid. I don't like Metrovania games. Because I don't like precision platforming. I like platforming, but when it's precision, I think I think PC might have something on consoles when it comes to precision platforming, but the controllers really ain't really good enough for it. It's like, bitch, I said X. I said go here. Like, when there's no room for fuck ups and there's a plenty of air that the controller can do, nah, bro, I'm about to rage. And well, this is that type of game. It's precision platforming. It's precision enemy attacks. You're like, you got to jump through this, hit nail, and then get out the way before you get damaged. I normally don't like it, but I love this. And there's limited dialogue. Most of the lore comes from stuff you have to find. You can easily avoid the lore and just go into the battles and go through the main quest. Or you can get the lore of everything. And it makes the main battle, I think what makes this game good is that you don't need any lore. You can just fight the bosses and go to the end boss and know generally what you want. I think it will fulfill you if you just did that. But doing it the other way, it's more fulfilling. Because then you know why you're doing all this, why all this happened, why the bad guy's even bad. Like you know all this stuff that you don't need to enjoy the game.
Gives you options.
Yeah.
I think every good game gives you options. If that makes sense.
Has to. A game needs to be
at least story-driven game. If that makes sense, because like you don't need options in the first-person shooter. You shoot them.
I mean, options and guns, good options. Like I think
True.
Black Ops 2, the balancing was better.
Yeah, there was no real meta, if that makes sense, in Black Ops 2
Because SMGs was deadly at close range, like it should be.
Yeah, shot. I mean, you could literally run anything, but everything had a counter.
Yep. And I think that's what, like, now the Modern Warfare, pretty sure it's 2. The fake Modern Warfare 2. I don't like that branding idea. But, like, they got SMGs that hit like ARs, but still spit like SMGs. That kind of
Defeats the
purpose of ARs.
Yeah.
Because I literally shoot slower. I mean, it hits harder, but they're like, they have shotguns that one hit from long distance, like a snipe.
But that's actually realistic, to be honest. Shotguns are way more effective than they are in video games. But
I don't debate that, but just for balancing, what's the point of having a snipe if this bitch? So most of the snipes take 2 hits.
yeah,
Like, if that's the case, bro, niggas are putting snipe scopes on fucking shotguns. Like, that's breaking the balance of the game. Because what's the point of having this stuff? Like, if this is the case, you might as well just have your AR, SMG, and shotgun. Because I would be okay with that, because at least I know what to expect. You got me out here sniping, and the nigga just shotgunning me for a fact. Like, bro, this bullshit. And they're shooting more. Like, you know, all games need a balance structure. I feel like now the problem with the games is because of DLCs and updates. They're able to break their balance structure.
right. Putting in new guns all the time, all that fun stuff.
Yep, able to make some stuff ridiculously OP because we can just fix it on the back end. No, if it's like, to your point, shotguns in real life are more effective than what they are in games. The hell, that's why some games kind of didn't have them. Like, because they couldn't really find a way to implement it. But once again, we're talking about a game where you shoot a nigga like with a clip and then they have AR and they still don't go down. So it was like, I'm okay with pseudo-realism if everything's pseudo-real. Don't make one gun real and the rest I'm having problems with. But what I was going to say is, does a game need to be revolutionary to be a classic?
No, you can perfect the formula.
Just make it. That's my answer. You don't need to do anything new. You could just be the same, but be great at it.
Yeah, like I think yeah, I think there's plenty of games that have just perfected the formula. Like the Ratchet and Clank games, like there's like, I don't know, at least 15 of those now. And they are in the middle there, they reached their classic, you know, around that Deadlock, and I can't remember what the other Ratchet and Clank was.
Was it Great something?
I don't know. I think it was Lost in Time. I think that's the one that was on the PS3. But around that era, they could do no wrong. They had the formula down. They gave you zany, goofy guns, and the platforming was good. The puzzles were good, and it had a decent storyline. Amazing. That's all you needed.
I think most of my games. I think it's rare for a game to be a first and be I guess it can't be a classic in the first if it really does something different.
I mean, I can think of one top of my head.
I think most comes from, this is a good game. Needs some stuff more fleshed out, but you know, once that works, that's why I feel like the second game is most of the time that game. That's a classic. Maybe the third if the developers keep strong. But yeah, I feel like it's normally like, oh, this is good. This is great. Like, I feel like if there was never another Sly Cooper game, the first one would be a classic to me. I think it has the best story. I tell people that all the time. But the gameplay in the second one is just up there. And the story's not too far off. But another example for me would be the Batman Arkham franchise. I didn't really like Arkham Asylum that much. Controversial pick. But that Arkham City was amazing. And then the second one, the Arkham Knight, it would have been better. But they had that fucking Batmobile section. And that shit pissed me off.
Everybody used to fucking Batmobile.
I was stuck on that for 3 years. I'm not a driving person. Like, I hate driving games. In Grand Theft Auto, I'd rather be the gunman than a nigga behind the wheel. I just hate driving in video games. I think that's one of the things that it's hard to look out for when you add too much stuff to a game. There was a lot of driving section in this game that I just wanted to beat niggas' ass. This is okay for maybe 3 missions. Like, I almost 100% at Arkham Knight. Right there in my room right now, I think it's at 70%. That's as far as it's going to get because the last 30% is Batmobile stuff. And that's no lie. Like, I think there's 12 additional bosses after the main campaign you need to get. I think I've gotten 9 of them. But the other ones are locked behind the Batmobile. Like, I literally got Gotham looking like regular New York City. Like there's no villains. There's barely any helicopters out looking for niggas. Bro, I'm not driving. I damn sure not going to play just to drive. Back then, I would have had a better chance if I drove, then beat niggas up, drove, then beat niggas up. Oh, it's a wash. I'm not just about to drive for 3 hours. That is a wash on that one.
That's hilarious.
And that's where I'm at. That's why Arkham Knight, well, Arkham City, perfect. Masterpiece.
I think what category were we in? I got lost in your Arkham City analysis.
I feel like we're talking about first person shooters, but you can bring it up.
Oh no, we're talking about like the first games being a classic. I mean, this one's a first and only game, so, but it's Shadow of the Colossus. That's the first and only game in that series franchise. Now the creator did the developers did make other games afterwards, but they weren't nearly as good.
They weren't the same game.
Yeah.
And to be fair, let's be fair where fairness is at. That game was not heralded as a classic until many years after. That bitch dropped like in 03 or 04.
Yeah.
I did not know too many people playing it until the remaster.
Well, it always had a cult.
It was a cult
following.
classic, yeah.
Yeah, like it always had a cult following for a long time, and then
And that's the reason it got its remaster.
Yeah.
The cult people gave it enough steam behind it to where the company was like, oh, let's go ahead and upgrade this a little bit. And the second time, like when it got remastered,
it blew up.
Yeah. So like I was about to say, let's be fair, because I'm not going to. When I figured out how old it was, it caught me by surprise. Oh, this bitch didn't hit the ground running. Like this wasn't. Like if it dropped now for the first time, that bitch would be game of the year.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it has the depth it needs to be game of the year, especially now.
I think they just need to add more story to it.
Yeah.
You know, backside lore.
Yeah.
But bro, that shit's better than Elden Ring. And they can come for me. Elden Ring should be no fucking game in no year. So if they won,
You hate Souls games. Let's preface this. You hate Souls games.
I specifically hate also hack and slash games. So,
Elden Ring isn't a hack and slash.
hey, that bitch only got a few controls. You're really only hitting square and dodging.
Yeah, but it's not a. This is its own genre. It's not its own. It's not hack and slash.
I feel like
Hack and slash is like there's no thinking. You're just hitting square.
I thought just having one button and hitting square was hack and slash.
No, hack and slash is like the original God of Wars.
But couldn't some platformers be considered hack and slashes? But
the
you think for platformers.
But the platformers. There's a difference.
I'm about to say, I thought hack and slash was just the gameplay type. Like, there's thought to it because the bosses move different, but the controls ain't too much. You're rolling, dodging, jumping.
But there's a lot of I'm going to defend Souls players and Souls like games, and I don't even like Souls games, so you're welcome. There's a lot of nuance in a Souls game.
I think Souls, so like so this is my main problem. Souls does nothing new. Souls ain't unique. Games were hard back in the day. That shit falls into the normal category of games back in the day. I think there's games that does, like I think Metrovania games does the lore thing better Because most Souls people would tell you, oh, well, if you read outside of this, if I got to read outside of the game did not do it well. And y'all can shove that up your ass. If I got to consume another form of media to fully grasp the game, and that's talking like if I grasped every single media in the game and there's still holes, it wasn't told properly. That's, oh, well, what are we doing here? Metroidvania games do stuff better. Hollow Knight, there is outside lore that you don't need to read because it is all there. Now, stuff expands upon it. Sonic, there's comics, there's other stuff with Sonic.
TV shows, all that fun stuff.
That does build the outside world more if that's what you want. But the great games gave it all what you needed in the game. And so it's like story aspect does nothing revolutionary. Like it does nothing really special there story-wise. And so you get to the hard gameplay. And for me, it's just I'm not gonna sit here and say I enjoy playing stuff over and over again. That's not in my bag. So I know that's a different niche group of people. But that game literally borders on cheating because putting an obstacle in front of me that I couldn't predict does not take skill. It takes knowing. Skill is being able to use what you got before and overcome something the first time. Something randomly generating that you've never seen is not skill. That's
fair. It's more punishing than it is. Right. The reason why I don't like Souls games, I wouldn't consider them classics because they're more punishing than fun, right?
Yeah.
And I guess if you're a fucking masochist, you like feeling pain.
And it is like me playing Hollow Knight. I get that it's rewarding. Like I do feel kind of good. Only kinda, because there's only so much good you can feel wasting 6 hours on one boss and finally beating them niggas. I kind of feel good when I don't have to go to YouTube, but I don't feel any worse when I go to YouTube and beat them niggas.
And I think there's like the final boss of Elden Ring. Most people have to have their friends help them beat the final boss. People don't beat that by themselves usually.
This bitch is ungodly. Isn't that bitch like an hour long straight?
Basically,
like if you're good at it,
yeah.
It's like that's not gaming to me. That's not skill. You turn this skill game into a marathon of endurance physically. Like, it's easy for me to bring up Hollow Knight because that's what I'm playing. I've also played Shovel Knight Masterpiece as well. And with Hollow Knight, there's bosses. So like one of the bosses about fourth boss I was stuck on. They're like, you can win with the skills you have. It would be easier if you went out and got this skill, but it's very beatable with the skills you got. It just takes more precision and timing. So I went with what I had and went back and got the damn skill I needed. But like that's a skill thing. I don't like. It wasn't coming at me in no ways I couldn't predict. It was just, God, this damn thing is so hard. But it's like there's a way to make it easier. It was on my ass for not discovering the easiest way first. But hey, we programmed it to where you can win with your actual skill. Just know it would have been 10 times. What would have made this fight easy? It was like I can't even really explain the fight. It had this animation. It took up the screen. There's this ability where I could just phase through it and up on the other side. But since I didn't have it, I have to jump over, then dash over it at the perfect time not to get hit. Very doable, but it's a whole lot easier to phase through that bitch. God, I wish I would have had that shit. And like, that's a skill curve. Hollow Knight skill curve. Most Sonic games are notorious for having bad bosses, but just the map. I guess some Sonics could be in this category, don't take skill. You just got to go through it and memorize the map. But the original Sonics, when they were done right, boom, boom, you could go through that thing and be like, oh, I'm in the air. I feel like Spike should be coming. Our enemy should be here. Like, that's why Sonic games don't get as much love as they used to. Because some of them are just punishing because map layouts. Not even like punishing like Souls. Just, bro, that nigga's just there just to hit me when I play. Like, there was no reason for him to be there except for to be a dick. That's bad. Like, that's a bad map layout when it's just unfair. And that's how I feel about. I don't think it's a trash game. Like, I don't think Souls altogether is a trash game. But I think how they keep constantly winning Game of the Year because they're hard, because this and that, that's not true. That game was not better than Horizon Zero Dawn.
Was it better than God of War?
It wasn't better than, well, it didn't come out, but I think Souls won over Spider-Man. Maybe Spider-Man won. I think there's been some debate about that. No, that Marvel Spider-Man is way better than any of the games. Like that's just that. Like it's no debating this. Yeah. I'm not, once again, I'm not overly saying it's a horrible game, even though I gave points on why I dislike it. But that shit's not and I knew it was going to win for that brief period when every streamer was playing it. But people was only playing it because it was hot to play. It became one of those self-fulfilling prophecy type things. Yeah. Since niggas is playing it and it's hot, other niggas going to play it since it's hot. I'm going to keep contributing to it being hot. No game had to play like Elden Ring. I will not deny that. That bitch had like the game community on lock. But once again, that did not make it.
But how long did that last? A month and a half?
A month and a half, yeah. And it's just, yeah. I am better that it outright kind of watched Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon is a great game. It's an open world game that rewards you for exploring, but you don't have to explore. It's not overly long. It's lore and everything. Like I would not call Horizon a classic yet, but it's close to a masterpiece. And people just outright just throw that bitch to the curb for Elden Ring. That's the only reason why I'm overly critical on Souls games, because they got their own category. They're Souls games, and they get this whole bunch of allure when it's just a good game. I can make an argument those Crash Bandicoot games are harder. And anybody that's played it can, and I'm talking like
Crash Bandicoot was punishing. It was. The fact that I was 5 playing that bitch is crazy.
I can make a strong case that bitch. I can make a case that Pokemon Stadium without your own Pokemon with the rented ones is harder. Because I've never beat that to this day. And then when I go online, most people, like I think less than 10% of people who played it beats the game with the rented Pokemon.
I don't think I've ever beat Pokemon Stadium with the rented Pokemon.
Bro, it took me so many hours and so much RNG just to do that shit. And I'm talking like this bitch smacked me and I get down to 1. Oh shit, that shit should have faded me. Oh,
okay. That one time. I've never had it happen. No. Ever. I have awful RNG in Pokemon games.
Bro, you have awful RNG in general.
No, I have pretty good RNG.
Bro, we played Mario Kart together.
Maybe it's Nintendo games. Maybe it's Nintendo games that fucking like me.
I was about to say, bro, I know your RNG sucks. But like I could give you some punishing games that if you like a difficulty, go play. Like, hey, I'm not bullshitting you. Go do that stuff. I was watching a video, the Crash Bandicoot remaster on the PS4 or 5. You got to be a masochist to get platinum in that. I think they said only like 0.2% platinum. That go do that. Like, that's not fun. I don't want. There's a reason why only 0.2 people did it.
Yeah, I would not be Antonio.
Yeah.
Especially like I remember, it was at one point where I was like a trophy hunter and I would try to platinum games. Not anymore.
For me, if my trophy hunting isn't discovering stuff that I did not find the first time, or just playing on the harder difficulty, I will never do that.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was Black Ops. I can't remember which Black Ops it was, but it was the mission where you had to blow up. You're escaping the gulag, and you have to blow up 3 guard towers with 1 shot.
I think it was Black Ops.
Oh my god, that was so fucking hard. It was Black Ops. That was so fucking hard. Because that's the one you kill Castro in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bro, I vaguely remember. I think I stopped here. I don't have a deep affinity for Black Ops campaign like others. This is where I stopped at. Was me and Eric rotating. I want to say me and Eric was rotating, but I let him play the game out from here.
I played that mission, and there was no easy way to restart the mission.
Yeah.
You had to back all the way out and then replay the mission. Oh my god! So if you missed the one time, you're fucked.
Yeah, bro.
That like, and maybe I just sucked at it, but I'm not good with a fucking slingshot throwing a bomb. Like I can shoot just fine with the fucking slingshot.
Bro, pressures in video games get to me more than in real life. The second I know, like, I one hit, fuck.
But the first time I played it, I got the first two like easy. So I was like, oh, I can fucking do this. This is easy.
This is where the pressure's really up. Oh,
I
this
missed
is my
the
last
first one.
one.
I went trying to redo it. I missed the first one. I was like, oh, what the fuck?
Girl, like, that's what I do. That's why I hate precision-based platforming. But I'm going through this bitch pretty good. Oh, this is the last stretch. Boom. Boom. What the fuck? What the fuck?
It's like the pressure's in your own head. Like, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up.
And now I'm like, all right, I gotta get back to where I need to get to. Fuck, I'm fucking up at the beginning now. I got through this before. and that's why I hate precision-based platforming, because it's all in my head once I get there. Man, this
It's
shit.
putting yourself on tilt. There's no getting back.
I have no clue how we went down, but that was my rant on hard games. And I guess in general, because I feel like difficulty does not make a classic game. I feel like games should have difficulty settings. And I get that the appeal of Souls is for it to be hard. But I feel like at the end of the day, just playing the game should be it. So, like, this is not me advocating for Souls to have a difficulty level per se. But, like, other games like Pokemon, like the great Pokemon game, depending on which generation you're in, makes you decide which one you think is a true classic Pokemon game. Me, I think it's fucking Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Yeah. That was the right choice.
I guess new niggas were thinking newer ones, and then, you know, so on and so on. But it's like, I don't hate Pokemon any less. Could I stand for it to be a little harder? I mean, truthfully, if I'm being real with you, if Pokemon was a tad bit harder or spiked up a little bit more than what it was, it would only run me 2 more hours, basically, than what I would already.
But I think, especially in the newer Pokemon games, if they gave you like an OG Pokemon mode, you know what I'm saying? Where, you know, no built-in AXP share, you have to go grind, you have to do this, you have to go do that.
Yeah.
It's give me the option. Give me the option to turn that shit off.
There was a meme going around. So the XP share, that was kind of OD. I don't know, like they literally had, y'all could have just put in buy the XP share in the game. Like back in the day, you know, you only had one. God, I wish they had more back in the day. But like, that was OD. But it's like, you're saying, so this was talking about Diamond and Pearl, the remakes.
No,
Because Cynthia.
I don't think I played the remakes. I played the first Diamond and Pearl.
They're pretty true to Cynthia's notoriously hard. Did not know that growing up. She was hard as fuck for me too.
She is insanely hard. Yeah.
There was this thing going around where it's like, we don't want to hear from you, mister. I beat Cynthia the first try after you used 20 revives and 24 restores. If you wanted to be, there's actually self-imposed rules called Nuzlocking. And it's like, you can do it to make the game hard. You cannot buy revives and full restores. I mean, to me, the game is hard if you got to restore these same Pokemon over and over again. This one battle. Maybe it's me. Don't over level. People will be like, I beat it. I was 15 levels over. Bro, if the game was hard, you could have been 15 levels over. Like, if she had 85 Pokemon, you could have level 100 ones.
Yeah.
That doesn't change the fact that you over leveled.
Is the level cap 50 now?
For competitive play.
It was 50.
Yeah, like, so if you have 100 Pokemon, they'll still scale back down to 50. But yeah, like, games will have a way to make it hard. Bro, it's not my fault that you grinded in a Pokemon game and was over leveled, or the thing that we all did when we were children, had our starter be level 82 and the rest of the Pokemon 30.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, my Charizard was stupid strong.
Bro, one, I always chose the fire type as my starter. Whichever game I was in with that starter, it was a wrap.
I chose, was this Diamond and Pearl? It was Diamond and Pearl. I chose Empoleon as my starter the first time I played it. Then I played with Infernape. Those I'd never played with Turtwig.
For some reason, later in my life, I feel like grass is for just strategic players. Never used it as a kid. I found love in it as an adult.
Yeah, I mean, it has its benefits, but that's just I'll pick up a grass type on the way.
I think that's the problem. I love so many other grass Pokemon I can find. Nah, bro, these are the fire starters. Think I can find no Charmander out there?
And like in most games, it's really hard. Like especially in the earlier Pokemon games, you didn't get another fire Pokemon until late game.
I think I forget which one. I forget if it was Fire Red or Emerald. It was like this was Fire Red. If you did not get a Growlithe in this little area, I can't remember the place of it, but if you did not get it, and this was like Gym 2, you were not able to get another fire type until you got to Cinnabar Island, which was badge 7. That was the very next time that you was actually able to get a fire type. Didn't know that, but I never knew that because I never needed another fire type. Like these are things that are just now coming to hit me as an adult. Oh. Everybody didn't choose Charmander?
Like I don't think I have played playthroughs of like Fire Red and Leaf Green, where I chose Squirtle or Bulbasaur, but I did that out of like making the game hard for me. I did it to make the game hard. I didn't do it because like I wanted to.
Bro, I just always, but that fire type was always over leveled. Emerald specifically, the only time that my fucking Pokemon, like my one starter, wasn't the highest was when I got that Rayquaza and it was a rep. Oh, that was also a thing. You go through the Elite Four of all these revives or whatever, which are over leveled legendary. Yeah, you know you don't have to use that legendary in Elite Four, right? You know you don't have to use those revives, all this, and you know you don't have to over level. You know this is a fair game. You're not making it through that Elite Four. One, because it's not really fair in general, because it's 4 of them at one time to go. But even if you say, oh, I'll restore them after every game, you know, after every match, just so we're fully healed, but you're not making it through that bitch even level. You're first. You're not. Like, unless you did expansive research on which mons are perfect to go with which whatever.
Yeah. And then you have perfect RNG. No one high rolls, no one crits.
I'm not doing that, and I'm a grown ass man, and I was a damn gym leader in a Facebook group of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Bro, it took me so long with Pokemon Sword and Shield. Was ignorant, and people said that game is easy. Okay, bitch, was kind of hard.
I just beat it not so long ago.
And like it's a great game, but it's like there's no difficulty. Most people would call it easy. But there's ways to make the game hard. Just like there's ways to make it easy. So like difficulty to me doesn't really matter. I feel like some goes with some. So like platformers are supposed to be hard. Because if you rush through a platformer, that bitch basically like Kirby. The point of platformers isn't to be able to beat that bitch in 2 hours on your first playthrough. Most platformers are, oh yeah, you should be able to get faster each time, you know, the better you get. But games being hard for the sake of them, just because, oh yeah, we made ours hard to appeal to mass demographic. No. What's the point? A Call of Duty campaign, the Call of Duty campaign should have fucking levels. What's the point of playing that bitch on expert level your first time? Like...
That sounds like hell. I remember I think I tried playing Black Ops 2 on expert. The first time I got it, I was like, I'm playing on expert and see how good I am. Cause I was pretty good at Black Ops 1, right? And I was like, hey, I can fucking do it. Bro, talk about punishing. You got hit once.
Bro, it is like their aim is auto aim. Like it's dead. If you're not covered, you're getting hit.
And then in Black Ops 2, there was no like you couldn't get behind cover, so you just had to like.
You just had to shuffle behind a wall.
Yeah, you had to shuffle behind a wall, or like just kneel behind something, like. But you're not actually in cover, so they can actually still kind of see. It was stupid.
The last time I tried to 100% a COD was MW2 because you had to play through it on expert. I can't remember if you had to not die on expert or just had to beat it through expert. Let me say just beat it because they'll make this story make more sense. It was this one mission where it was like we were just in a field, like it was war. And I think I was going to a tank or like something like that.
I remember that mission. Yeah.
Bro, I could not fucking make it out my spawn. That bitch started shooting when you spawn. And it was not shit that I could do. I'm 2 hours in and moved all of 20 meters combined. Nah, bro, I'm not playing this. Like, bro, when a game is so challenging like that, bro, it didn't even cross my mind to YouTube, bro. I can YouTube it, can tell me, but unless I'm hacking, I'm not beating this shit. And we can go ahead and call it raps. I think now in my adult mind, it's like, yep, I gave it a few tries. Let me go ahead and put this on down. Let me. I
think I have about 5 continuous deaths from like. It's not worth it.
My deaths is progressive. Like, boom, boom. The first one, you're supposed to die on the first one to anything. Cool, I'm okay with that. All right, I'm starting to chug along a little bit, die. All right, cool. I started figuring some stuff out. I started figuring out the boss's pattern, what's going on. All right, the third one, boop, boop, boop. If I die again, how much fucking health does he got?
Your rage meter just goes up and up.
This is particular for bosses that have 2 phases. But oh yeah, I beat him. Dude, second phase start, die. Fuck. No, I'm off.
Because you use my 5th death when I get to that second phase.
You motherfucker, I beat that. And if it don't start me off in the second phase of the fight,
oh my god, I'm quitting.
Yeah, bro, I need to go ahead and take a break. I need to, back in my youth, I throw a controller, but the days are expensive as games. I'm not in my youth anymore. I'll smash a controller. I don't like that.
That's funny.
What modern games have you played that you would consider a classic?
The God of Wars, consider them a classic. I can just say God of War 2018 and 2022. Spider-Man. And I'll say Breath of the Wild.
Have you beat Breath of the Wild?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Bro,
I'm in my my second playthrough now.
I played 2 hours of it. Don't like it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I hate it because the weapons fucking break.
Yeah, it is a little soulsy in that. Yeah, like it makes it hard to you have durability. But I think it was a new concept, and I enjoyed it enough to care.
Makes sense. I'm about to say, like, the game is still Zelda, so I'm not gonna say it's not. But I hate, like, say like I do get a good sword and it breaks. Well, either A, I need to go back and get it, or go back and make one. I hate making weapons. I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit with you. When you find weapons, like in the old Zelda, like, oh, boom, open up a chest. Nigga got arrows. I got this damn slingshot now. I'm okay with that, but like, this is gonna contradict when I talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. But they give you so many weapons and so much room to make weapons that it's kind of easy. But I hate having to make weapons. God, bro, is it not enough that I'm playing this bitch? Is it not enough that this bitch is kind of difficult? Now I gotta make the motherfucking weapons as I go. And God forbid if this bitch broke on me in a
serious situation.
Yeah. to where I can't even go back and get materials. Now a nigga swinging with his fist, but this nigga got death grenades. Like,
it's just like you have to have. It's one of those games where you have to have planning. You have to like, okay, I have this many swords, this, and this. I know I have this many arrows. Like, you have to plan before you enter an encounter.
Yeah,
and I think it's a different game than I would usually play. I usually play more like a less strategic game. I'm more of a whole W kind of guy, but
I like exploring.
And I think that's I like exploring too, and I think that's a very
it's a
big
huge
part.
It's a huge part of this game. But for me, the exploring has to take a back seat because I gotta constantly monitor like my resources. And that's why I hate resources games. Because I like to mindless explore. That's why like I'm playing Hollow Knight right now, so I keep going back to it. It's easy in my head. But Sonic as well. Like I like being able to explore with no consequence. Not Oh, boop, boop. Oh, there's a couple bosses here. Boop, 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 boop. Damn, my shit broke. Shit, let me finish up and see what's around here. Boss fight. Oh my god! If I die,
there's one time I can't remember what boss it was. It was in the well, you haven't finished the game, so you won't know. Maybe you do know, but it's the one you had to go inside the like creature walker thingy-majigs. I can't remember what they're called now. It's been a while since I played that game.
which game? Breath of the Wild?
Breath of the Wild. It's like the 4 main guardian creatures or whatever.
The shrines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was the second shrine. I did not manage my resources well, and I ran out of shit, and I still beat it. It made me feel so special inside.
It does make you feel better. But yeah, like with Breath of the Wild per se, games of that nature, I find myself, let's see, I'm going somewhere new. Fuck, I got the resources. Let me turn back. But I need to turn back, gather resources, then come back. And it's like, all right, this I'm not gonna. That's where the disconnect for me is. So now I have to give up finding out, going through the game, progressing, because I'm afraid to progress and get caught without the shit that I should have. Like, I think what would make Breath of the Wild more easily playable, the Master Sword should just be permanent. Like how every other sword that Link has is. But that could be the only one, and I'm okay with that. At least you always have a sword.
You always have something.
If you tell me that there's better swords and they break and this and that, cool. But you can actually have nothing.
Yeah.
What?
You can have just these.
And that's what it's upsetting. When I can actually have nothing, like nothing. I guess how I would have retweaked it. I mean, it did well. It was getting a sequel, so fuck what I think. But how I would have retweaked it to my liking is that you would have the Master Sword, but you could add different effects and different stuff to it.
That would be
and
cool.
that wears off.
That would be cool. Yeah. That's actually a great concept, and it also spices up the Master Sword. We've had that in every fucking Zelda game. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not.
No, you've had
Wind
it.
Breaker. I don't think you had it in Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
In Wind Waker. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he had a sword.
He had
not
a
the
sword.
Master
It was not the Master Sword.
Oh, didn't know. I didn't play
But
Wind Waker.
it was basically the equivalent, but it was not the Master Sword.
So was it not the Master Sword, or did it just not be called the Master Sword?
It wasn't the Master Sword.
Okay. I was about to say, was it just not referred to by name? But it just wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't, but it was the equivalent.
Because the nigga had it at all times. And so, like, that's how I would do it. Only because right now, my save file, I don't know if you open that bitch up, I'm fighting this damn monster with a stick.
That's absolutely amazing. I fucking love it.
It's a shame that, like, I haven't played that bitch in 2, maybe 3 years. But I know that's where it's at. Because, bro, this stick ain't doing nothing to this nigga. He's blasting. It's one of those it's a little fire joke that is shooting fire at me.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
Bro, there ain't shit I can do with that nigga. Bro, I gotta understand.
Your stick gonna catch a fire.
There ain't shit I can do with it. A few times I done throw the damn thing at him. Bro, there ain't too much I can do with you, nigga. But like my checkpoint is specifically right there. So like I keep coming out to that nigga. Nah, bro, y'all pissing me off. Y'all about to make me reset this bitch. But I'm gonna reset. I don't even like it, bro. I'm not even fucking. There's 2 arguments that now that I was about to say it. I'm not even 2 hours in, so there's no reason that you should hold on to it. You haven't done too much in the game, but at the same time, nigga, I haven't seen too much. What the fuck? I'm gonna start this bitch back over, and that's why I like to look at things. Nigga, I'm about to go play the only 2 hours that I know over again.
Man, I remember the first time I encountered the Guardians and the little crab walking shits.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God.
Those aspects, like, and that's why it's like, when people hear me say, you don't like a Breath of the Wild, bro, it's just the resources part. I actually like the bosses. I've YouTubed them because I never got a chance to play them. But I like that part. I like the puzzle solving and the little jumps with the little, like.
And the tilt control, all that fun stuff. Yeah.
But that's the shit that I like. I just, it's just transversing. Also, in my later in life, bro, I hate having to run through a map. I hate open world maps now.
Really?
Like, I can put it out there. Spider-Man, it's fun. But, like, even still, that map is kind of huge. But I almost 100% of that game. So what am I complaining about? But I hate open worlds. Hate Assassin's Creed. Horizon Zero Dawn, I guess I haven't even beat the second one. But I have been preoccupied on other stuff. I hate having to walk distances. I hate having to ride great distances. I hate that, I need to get this part to advance the story. That's where I was at, but I just traveled halfway across the map. But I need to travel back and then go back.
Typically, games like that have a fast travel feature.
That's true, but even the fast travel don't put you in good enough positions.
Sure.
And it's just like, I'm not even playing the game. I am just getting from point A to point B. This is no different than driving. I am just driving to my next location.
Driving with your feet.
Yeah. It is like, I hate it. Like, it's just easier for me to say now, I am okay with stories, sandboxes. That just limits me. That just a little bit. I hate having to find a whole bunch of worthless collectibles. That padded out the game. The game is fucking 14 hours long. Bro, the main story is 8. Of course it's 14 if you 100% it. And it's not even really saying anything. It should be like 30 if you're trying to 100% something. Like, I hate it. Batman Arkham Knight, one of the things I didn't do. So I'm not nowhere near close to beating. One of my 3 bosses, the Riddler. Bro, in my regular playthrough, I found 40 of the trophies. And some people say that's pretty good through my just course of the playthrough. I took extra effort to find the ones that I seen. Bro, it was 249 of those. Bro, I'm not finding that shit, bro.
No.
Like, that's already an arbitrary number. That's bullshit. If there's 200 anything, no, bro. Unless I found them through the story and there's like 30 left. But no, bro, I'm not going back for 200 of those. That's already dead.
Yeah, that's insane. Well, I think we've had a great episode.
I think this was a great topic. I wanted to go back and forth, but classics was great. Next time we can talk about masterpieces in video games. Like always, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that notification so you can always know when we upload.